Alright guys, so this is our second video of the DC series, and I was trying to think of a cool and a different kind of way that we could get you guys, a little tour of DC and show you guys some different things. And you know what? I like food, and I spend a lot of my time hungry. So I think I'm going to explore different neighborhoods and show you guys them based on the food that we're going to try. And of course, we're going to show you the restaurants. So I hope you guys like it. So while I'm here, I'm actually staying in Silver Spring, and so we're gonna take Metro to get down. So I might as well show you guys the Metro. If you're using it for tourism purposes, it's a great way to get around the city. If you're using it to get somewhere on time, not so much. So now, when I say that DC doesn't always have the best public transit, it's because in the past, Metro has gone through a bunch of changes, problems, whatever, including a fire that ultimately killed someone. So that's always fun. Sorry, got shaky cam going on. Metro's done a lot of reforms, including their Back to Good programs, as well as some other initiatives. Track repairs, new, I don't know if you guys can see, but these are the new trains. And yeah, it's a good way to get around the city, but it's not always the most reliable. There's a lot of delays still, derailments happen, things like that. But in general, if you're just being a tourist and not on a set schedule, it's a good way to get around DC. So DC Metro actually has 128 miles of track in total. That is with the new expansion that reaches all the way out to Dulles Airport. It extends across 2 states, the District of Columbia, and has full integration with a variety of other rail stations, such as the Virginia Rail and the Maryland MARC trains. But it's a massive system. So in addition to underground stations, DC Metro actually has above ground stations. We're here at Fort Totten right now, making a connection to the Yellow Line to get down to the first place we're going to stop. All right, so we are now officially in downtown Washington, DC in the Columbia Heights neighborhood. Now, interestingly enough, this was actually founded back in the 1800s, and while in the District of Columbia, was not actually part of Washington, D.C. It was part of the County of Columbia, which no longer exists today as the city has obviously taken it over. But as far as our food is concerned, there's no way you're coming down to U Street without going to Ben's Chili Bowl, which is an iconic place down here. This place has been founded, it's been here since the 50s, 1957, as a staple of D.C., and I'll show you guys here why here in a minute. Okay, so Ben's was actually founded in 1958, which was the year of Ben and his wife Virginia's marriage. Now, Ben died, unfortunately, but Virginia still runs and is in here quite a bit of the time. This place has been around since 1958, and as you guys can see, there's tons of pictures of celebrities that have come to visit this place, and it's just become such a staple of the community. In fact, during the 1968 riots that occurred in DC after the assassination of Martin Luther King, Ben's was one of the only places that stayed open and was universally not touched by the riots. So Ben's is actually known for one thing, and that's their famous half smoke, which, as you can see below me, is chili cheese fries, and then kielbasa sausage with mustard, onions, and chili on top. It's delicious. Alright, so first up we're doing the chili cheese fries. Got like a good amount on there. I've had Ben's chili a bunch of times, but this is such a great part of being back in DC. Alright, moment of truth. Half smoke. Heads up, there's no sexy way to eat this, so it's going to look terrible. This alone is worth the trip to DC. It's like the sweet sausage and it just complements so well. I'm not recording, I'm gonna go eat this now. Fun fact, I was once drunker than a skunk in here, and I led this whole place in a round of I Believe I Can Fly. The best. So in addition to being residential, a lot of the bars and nightclubs in DC are in this area. It's called the U Street Corridor. And it is really quite at the front lines of gentrification. And I think you can see it really on this street. Because over here you have the classically designed townhomes that used to make up DC in this neighborhood. And across the way, well, we've got these nice new apartment complexes. And so DC is really at the forefront of gentrification right now. And what I mean by that is a lot of people are complaining that they can't afford to live here. So people who have owned their homes for over the past, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years are being pushed out of the neighborhood. And that's really happening here in Columbia Heights more than probably any other neighborhood. Now the proponents will say, well, it's because we're making the neighborhood better. We're building homes, and this place used to be crime-ridden or whatever, which is code speak for it used to be predominantly black, which is a lot of developers' ways of saying that. But now, like, a lot more people are being pushed out into PG County, which is in Maryland, as well as even some of the Virginia suburbs, though those are still quite pricey. So now, when we're talking about the issue of race in DC, DC used to be referred to as Chocolate City. And that wasn't because there was a chocolate factory here. It was because there used to be historically black people here, more so than a lot of cities in the country. Since gentrification's really taken hold, you've seen a lot more people coming into the city. Though that's starting to even out, only from the standpoint of now it's becoming just as expensive to live in the city as it is in the suburbs, and more people are choosing the suburbs. But of all those, all of that black population that used to live here, that's all been pushed out now, like I said, into Prince George's County, Southern Maryland, and even farther out into like parts of West Virginia and Pennsylvania. And there's a real question about whether or not that's ethical with all this development going on. I do love the old school townhouses though. And again, talking about people of different colors being forced out of the city, you're looking at the athletic complex for Howard University, which is historically one of the oldest HBCUs in the country and one of the most well-recognized. Famous alumni include Chadwick Boseman, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Representative Elijah Cummings. I mean, many people of fame and notability have come from this university. And that really concludes our time in Columbia Heights. We're going to not spend as much time as we could. Each one of these places could be their own video, but we're going to move on for right now. And next in our gastro tour is going to be dessert. But Ben's is, not going to lie, still kind of sitting rough. So it might be a liquid dessert. Can't wait to show you guys this. So we actually just got downtown, and we're going to start this tour before going to the special spot in DC's Chinatown. So now Chinatown's really downtown, and in addition to obviously a high Asian American population, it also has a bunch of restaurants. The arena's down here where the Wizards and Capitals play, as well as one of the most busy metro stations in the city,
where usually there's something going on, but it seems to have calmed down today. And so here we have Capital One Arena, which you can't really tell. It just looks like a big complex, and it's connected to a movie theater over here, as well as some other things. But this is where the Washington Wizards for the NBA and the Washington Capitals for the Hockey League, National Hockey League play. And fun fact, I saw Shakira in that building and I screamed like a little girl. And so as we walk through here, you guys can see a bit of downtown DC. Looks like a lot of downtown places, maybe without the high rises, again, because you can't go past 13 stories in DC. But it's a beautiful little downtown, always clean, always something happening, little outdoor restaurants. And yeah, it's a great little place, man. So I actually wanted to take you guys over to the White House to be like, yeah, right down the road from downtown in the middle of DC is the White House. But they have it blocked off today. Unfortunately, it looks like, well, maybe fortunately, I don't know what they're talking about. The Japanese delegation's in town. You can actually see, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but behind here is like the United States flag and the Japanese flag and the District of Columbia flag that they set out for there. But where there's a will, there's a way. And I'm going to show you guys the White House from a different angle that not a lot of people see. So, once you enter the W Hotel, you can take this little rooftop elevator button up and step out onto the rooftop bar. So this is the view from the W Rooftop Hotel. And if you look over here, see people on the top of the roof of the White House, and those are the security forces and the snipers. Not only that though, you get a great view of DC. There's the Lincoln plane landing over at Reagan. Pentagon's over there. There we go. Yeah, it's just a great place to come and have a drink. Oh, they don't have sippy cups. Of course, a great view of our friend at the Washington Monument. And so that's day one of our tour of eating our way and exploring Washington, D.C. So coming up on day two, we've got some other great places for us to check out.